Assalamualaikum. My name is Zoha Bilal and I'm a first year MBBS student at the Aga Khan University. And today I'll be talking about watercolor painting with you guys. It's something I've been doing for over a year now, and it's probably my favorite hobby. So I'd love to discuss a few things regarding it with you guys today.
Hi, my name is Rabab and I am a BSCN student at the Aga Khan University, Karachi. With that, I am also a self-taught artist and I've now been painting for more than 5 years.
Assalamualaikum everyone, my name is Fasih Ahmed. I'm a graduate of the class of 2019. I run this Instagram page called Atelier de Fasih. Don't worry about it, it's just a fancy name for a page that sells my artwork.
Got into grade 9, I had this amazing friend who was really good at these little minimalistic paintings and sketching and calligraphy. So looking at that, I was inspired that I should try it too, and maybe I would do anything near that. It was just so beautiful to me. So that is how I started, and I even have my first sketch, and this was my first sketch ever. And I started from this. It is bad. My first few sketches were bad, but slowly and gradually I improved. So looking at my most recent sketch and the first sketch, I think the improvement, just looking at how better I've gotten, it really made me want to do more. So that's how I started.
Okay, so watercolors, it's not something that's very unique to me. I was actually inspired by a lot of people using them on Instagram. And I used to love the art process. I used to love watching the colors flow and then mixing together, merging together to make something, a color that you'd never be able to see on the palette as it is. And that was something that really, really intrigued me. And I just ended up ordering watercolors one day, and ever since then, I've loved using them. And they're actually my favorite art medium.
As the ideas for my paintings are concerned, I don't exactly have a rule by which I came up with those ideas. I think most of them were reflections of my life at that point. It was actually a very healthy way to sublime all the stress that came hand in hand with the med school workload, I guess. If I had to define it in words, I'd say the artist equivalent of Eureka moment, where that bulb would light up and you're like, oh, this is something that I have to paint right now. So I would really try to channel that energy into painting, and that's how I came up with those ideas. And then the second half of my work consisted of orders that I got from clients. So they included portraits, ranging from couple portraits to family portraits, etc.
Okay, so my artwork, it usually consists of leaves, plants, flowers, clouds, the sky. So I'd say that my inspiration usually comes directly from nature itself. I love being around greenery. I love the color green with the color pink and orange. I think that it's a really refreshing combination. So I try to reflect that in my artwork as well.
The amount of time it takes to complete one painting varies from the kind of painting, the kind of medium that I'm using, and the amount of details. For example, a surrealistic piece using watercolor can take as much as 6 to 7 weeks per piece, whereas a portrait might take as little as 1 or 2 weeks. So it varies again.
It depends painting to painting. Some are longer, some are shorter. The quickest that I've done is 10 to 15 minutes one that I showed earlier also, and the longest that I've done is it took me weeks to do because of the details, because of the layering upon layering, especially watercolors and oil paints take the longest of time.
A classmate of mine who ran a successful business during clinical years, and she also maintained a sound academic performance. So one day she came to me and she advised me that if I had a skill and if I could somehow convert that skill into a product, it would not only help me earn some extra money, but it would introduce my work to a larger audience. So that was a big plus, and that idea struck me. So I thought about it for a number of days. but there was a major problem with the idea itself. When you're dealing with converting artwork into a product, it's very easy to do it if you're dealing with something like print. When you make one print and replicate it to 1,000 stationery items, that's not time consuming either. However, the kind of art I dealt with was surrealistic theme based art. I had to put a lot of thought into coming up with the layout, and then the process of painting it was very tedious. So it wasn't feasible for me to start a business that sold that kind of work. So I thought and thought, and then finally settled to divide my time between taking customized orders where a client would come to me and, let's say, ask me for a portrait or something, and showcasing my surrealistic works that I made in my leisure time. That's how basically I started the business.
I think start from where you stand today, because not everybody stands in the same place. Everybody have their own journeys. Everybody has a unique style. So applying a similar formula to everyone, that start with lines, start with sketching, or start with painting, it just doesn't work for everyone. Start from where you stand. See what you think, see what you want to say through a painting. Is it an idea? Is it an opinion? Is it an emotion? Or is it a wish?
Let me tell you something first. I was never one of the smart kids who had state honors and who were always in the top 15. In fact, my class rank was probably somewhere in the middle. Anyways, as far as managing things were concerned, what I did was I sat with a couple of friends who knew me well and came up with a routine. So that routine entailed doing nothing related to business from Monday till Friday. And then on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, I would stop all academic related activities by 9 p.m. And from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. or 11 p.m., I had about 2 to 3 hours per day to dedicate to my art-related business. I mean, it was a slow process, but one needs to learn how to adapt when you want to start something like that. In fact, I was away for electives somewhere in between for 2.5 months. And again, I had to adapt. So since I couldn't paint or anything, I would just visit art museums on Sundays or on the days when I was off. And I'd put up stories from, those art museums so that my page kept running.
I really enjoy it, and I take it as a stress relief for myself. I only go for it on the weekends or even during the weekdays if I have the time to. And I just sit by my window with some music on, and I start drawing whatever I want to, whatever I feel like at that moment. So it's since I consider it as a hobby, it doesn't take too much of my time, and I can still manage it with other work as well.
I think my friends and family have been the biggest source of support for me. With friends, I really appreciate the fact that they understood that med school is not a stress-free environment. And in that kind of environment, you need a channel or activity to, really get rid of that stress.
Well, I feel that my mother, she's always loved whatever I've drawn since I was a kid. And she always encouraged me to continue with it. She never stopped me from doing artwork. Like, I remember I used to sit, if I'm watching a TV show and if I'm wasting time in some other way, she'll definitely come and tell me to go and study whatever. I'm actually the eldest child, so a lot of people might be able to relate with that. But other than that, whenever she's seen me painting, she's never stopped me from doing it. So she's been a great support for me.
My biggest supporter, I have had a lot of support from my family and my friends. I would say that I have not been my support at all. I have rather been my biggest critique in work. That whenever I work, I'm very detail oriented, so I'd be like, oh, I missed this point, or this could have been better, or that is not as detailed as I would have liked it to be. So, but my family, my friends, they have always appreciated, liked my art very much, and it has really supported me to go on. It has helped me feel better about myself. So I think that my family and friends have really played an important part in it.
So I I don't have my favorite artwork or art piece, whatever, with me right now. It's in my hostel room. It was actually like 3 paintings, and I made those for my room, my hostel room, and I got them framed. And they were basically just leaves and flowers. They were really cute. But right now, I do have something I painted recently, and well, it's this. It's a window with some plantation around it. And when I put it up on Instagram, I added some music to it. I made a video out of it, and it gave it some kind of a reminiscent kind of a vibe, and it was really nice. I actually kind of like it.
The two of my favorite pieces are number one, this piece. This is titled Katre Se Kohor, and this is the same piece that took me about 3 years to complete. It consists of a wooden panel which is being painted with oil paint, and it has a paper sculpture of peacock pasted on it. This basically captures that transition from high school to med school, when you suddenly have a lot of workload, a lot more to study, and then also it comes with an emotional price, right? Because it's a different environment altogether. So this was my abstract way of capturing those changes and how that caused emotional turmoil. Second favorite piece is titled Don't Lose Yourself in Giving the World a Taste of Its Own Medicine. It's again a watercolor painting, and in the best way that I can explain it, I try to capture using many symbols the abstract paradox between human desire to interact with other people, be it a romantic relationship or a day-to-day interaction, and the fear of being vulnerable. I won't go into the details, and I usually leave the symbols to my audience, so I'm open to interpretations, but yeah, that was my idea behind this painting.
All of them are so unique and special to me. They remind me of moments, they remind me of days, they remind me of how I felt at that point. But there are few that I can say that if I have to choose, that I did a short series on a book that I read, 40 Rules of Love. So I did a series, and I love these paintings till today, and I don't even understand how I did those. This was the first rule I painted, the second rule, third, and then I did the 13th. So this series, it is done on paper with water paints and acrylic paints mixed, and I think this has been my absolute favorite in beauty and in skill aspect, but in connection aspect, this is my favorite painter, all-time favorite. It says it was her chaos that made her beautiful. It was my chaos that made me beautiful and my paintings beautiful, because that is why I started. I had issues with anxiety, I had issues with expression, and my paintings helped. So my chaos made me beautiful. This is my all-time favorite, and I always like to go back to this painting.
I don't think I'll be stopping, because this is something I need. This is something that helps me get through stuff. And it helps me, maintain my sense of calm. And it connects me, most importantly, it connects me to the part of myself I'm usually really disconnected to, because of all the other stuff I have to do, like chores and, obviously schoolwork and all that stuff. So I feel that it helps me contemplate, it helps me think, and it helps me, just ease up a little bit. And I'm sure I'm gonna be needing that a lot in the future. And I actually consider myself lucky as having found something that helps me relieve myself of stress and anxiety. So it's something that I'm definitely going to be continuing in the future, and I don't think I'll be stopping anytime soon.
My advice to all those who wish to start something similar is to let go of the ifs and buts and focus on the possibility of making it happen. Because when you focus on that possibility, it actually becomes easier for you to realize that idea.
Okay, so when it comes to art, I've seen that a lot of people, they don't go for it entirely, because they say that, हमने तो कभी art किया ही नहीं, we've never painted, we've never drawn anything in our entire life. So it won't be good enough at the end. I'd suggest that, if you feel that you'll be able to de-stress through art, if you feel that it'll be something productive, and if you feel that you can express yourself through it, then you don't have to worry about what other people are going to think of it. And I'm pretty sure whatever you make, art is beautiful in many forms. So definitely there are going to be people who will like it. And even if there aren't any people who like it, it doesn't matter. As long as you're being productive, as long as you're expressing yourself, as long as you're de-stressing, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're having a good time and you're enjoying yourself.
My advice to everyone is that stay connected to art. Whether you stay connected as an artist, as a collector, as a person who observes or adores art, because we all are so connected to colors in our lives, so connected to patterns, so connected to art. And cherish art, cherish the artists you have around you. Support each other in forms of art and start painting.
So guys, if you think that doctors and medical students can be more than just nerds or academics and can channel their inner creativity, please hit the follow button and follow my Instagram page Atelier3660 aka Atelier de Fasih. The link is given in the caption, and please stay tuned for your weekly dose of surrealistic art.
Okay, so I don't actually display my artwork on any public account, and I don't sell it either, but I do have a private account and it's on Instagram. And well, if you know me, you can follow me definitely.
I do have a page in my own name, Rabab Hasan, on Instagram, and I showcase my personal work there. And also, take care.